How can technology revolutionise the way we shop and engage with brands? Well, today I'm thrilled to welcome Len Covello, CTO and co-founder of a company called Engage People, onto the podcast. And they're at the forefront of loyalty technology. And they're enabling consumers to pay with points directly at checkout rather than cash. But what tangible benefits does that bring to retailers? Well, Len's expertise lies in integrating innovative solutions that enhance the retail experience through, yes, you guessed it, AI, but AI and loyalty programs. And in our conversation today, we're going to explore how AI is transforming retail decision-making, the impact of paying with points on consumer behaviour. What kind of measurable impact are we talking here? And also, I want to explore some of the future trends that are shaping customer experiences and try and identify what exactly does this mean for retailers and consumers alike. Producing daily tech episodes isn't as easy as I might make it look sometimes, and I couldn't do it without the help of our generous sponsor. Now, before I get today's guest on, a quick shout out to the sponsors of Tech Talks Daily, because in today's remote first world, I think settling for outdated managed file transfer solutions means ultimately you're risking your sensitive data. But if you upgrade to Kiteworks, the gold standard in secure MFT, boasting FedRAMP moderate authorization, Kiteworks isn't just secure, it's a complete transformation of how your business handles file transfers and communications. And with this state-of-the-art file sharing, email security, and a platform that's as robust as it is user-friendly, Kiteworks is empowering you to manage and protect your data like never before. So say goodbye to compromise and hello to unmatched security and efficiency. And you can do that by making the switch to kiteworks.com. That's kiteworks.com to secure your data and empower your business. But now, let's get today's guest on. Buckle up and hold on tight as I beam your ears all the way to Toronto in Canada, where we're going to uncover these insights with one of the industry's leading innovators. So a massive warm welcome to the show. Can you tell everyone listening a little about who you are and what you do?
Well, thanks for having me, Neil. My name is Len Covello. I'm the CTO and one of the co-founders at Engage People. We build loyalty technology for a number of companies, primarily financial institutions. So anything on the back end that's white label powering loyalty programs today are part of the services that Engage offers. We've got a few pieces of technology out in the market that are really shaping the loyalty space. So we are one of the companies and the only network powering pay with points globally today. So my day-to-day job as the CTO at Engage is really to guide implementation and product development from the organization and just strategize with the team here internally on our forward-looking technology posture.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today. One of the reasons I invited you on here is there's a lot of hype that surrounds all things AI at the moment. I think a lot of business leaders think, what is this hype all about? What problems are we solving? What business value are we generating? What's the ROI on these projects? And obviously you're hugely into loyalty tech. So I'd love to try and bring this to life by asking you to set the scene today and ask you, how are you seeing AI reshaping the retail landscape, particularly in terms of enhancing things like customer experience and safeguarding retailers financially? What are you seeing here?
I think you use the perfect word there, is enhancing.
Yeah.
We see different technologies come across our desk over the years, whether it be blockchain. Now we're talking about AI. In our industry, personalization was a very big term, albeit not a specific technology. And there's a group of people that thinks it will revolutionize everything. And while they're not wrong, I think they overshoot what the practical impacts are of these technologies. And I think AI is an incredible tool for practical implementation. So in the retail space specifically, there's a lot of manual work that's been done. And although it's powered by computers, there's people in the background making decisions ultimately. And we're building models for segments and chatbots and trying to make intelligent decisions on personalization and what we offer to a consumer when we're interacting with them. And AI and machine learning really gives the power to a lot of companies to, I'll say, punch above their weight, is to crunch a significant amount of data and get the results to be that much more accurate. So it's really where I see AI in the retail landscape, is really playing the role of making companies a lot more efficient and a lot more precise in their decision making and how they work with customers.
And I'd love to drill down into engage people's technology there. And we mentioned the loyalty tech. So how are you allowing loyalty program members to pay points directly at the checkout? And assuming once you've done that, what kind of impact is this having on consumer behavior?
So it started years ago when we looked at just the construct of a loyalty program and really taking a member. The earn process is very clear and clean to a customer. It's their day-to-day transaction. It's how they live their life. You're earning really in living your life in the way, you're tapping a card at a retail store, you're booking some travel. It's the things you would do day to day. But the redemption process always broke away from that. So we had always seen, and I don't think we were overly special on this. We just saw that for a customer to truly be engaged in a program for true loyalty is they're going to want to redeem for something at that point in time when they're interacting with any of the brands that they've got affinity with or any loyalty to, regardless of who that brand is. In our world, we started to see a large number of redemptions going towards gift cards or vouchers, depending where you are in the world, how they're referred to. And what that was telling us is the consumers still wanted that choice. They still wanted the ability to have, the closest thing to a fiat currency and a gift card in their wallet, and they would choose when and how they would use that. And with that, we thought, how do we get into this checkout process? How do we become part of that process when a consumer is making a decision to purchase something? We can communicate to them and let them know, outside of your credit and your debit and money you have on hand, there's another currency that's fully backed. It's fully secure. There's no volatility to that, and you can use that. So we started to build a network and really think of the network having two sides to it. Is we needed to bring on large loyalty programs who had a significant member base that would create an appetite for the retailers to want to open up their checkout experience. And the latter was the harder piece, as I'm sure you can appreciate, Neil, is going to some of the big brands in the world, the Amazons, and saying, we want to get into your checkout flow. And outside of accepting the traditional credit cards that you would accept at checkout, can you offer a consumer to pay with points? And we've been successful. Albeit quite a bit of work and quite a bit of effort into this, we've been successful to build that network.
And I'm interested in how that rises expectations from consumers, because there's an old quote that the last great experience that we have as consumers becomes the standard expectation that we want to see everywhere. So what are the key trends in retail technology that you think retailers should be taking advantage of to remain competitive in today's market and meet those rising expectations too?
Well, what we're offering is definitely one of them. It's giving that consumer choice, especially in the current economic times. As we went through the pandemic, there was a lot of uncertainty out there. So really, technology that we saw retailers taking advantage of was anything that made the consumer experience easier, anything that built trust with them as well. So at the same time, we're encouraging people to use technology more and more as part of their everyday lives and as part of their purchases. They're seeing a lot of fraud. They're seeing account takeover and quite a bit of really, topics that would scare a consumer. So, on one hand, we're saying enter your credit card information here. On the other hand, we're saying just be very careful what you share with everyone. So a lot of the trends we're seeing is making that experience a lot easier for a customer, whether it's account on file. There's some really cool companies out there today that are using one-time tokens to authenticate a customer, and then they can pull information directly from the bank for the payment details. I'm still a fan of anything that makes the consumer journey a lot easier, or gives the consumer the ability to purchase something they may need. So the buy now, pay later technology out there, I think, was something great for consumers as well. So really pieces like that, and then that omni-channel experience where if you do have both in-store bricks and mortar and online presence, communicating with that customer in a fully cohesive journey so that you really have a good understanding of who that consumer is, what they're looking for, and making sure you're speaking to them at the time they want to make those purchases.
And I think it can be an incredibly confusing space with online stores like Amazon suddenly opening physical stores and physical stores trying to rival Amazon online. So how can retailers better blend the physical and digital worlds to create that cohesive and seamless customer experience across all platforms? Anything you're seeing here?
Systems are a big key to this. And while that's not something exciting for people to hear about, there was a lot of companies out there that had, different systems running their online presence versus what they saw at store. So it wasn't an elegant journey for the consumer. They could be online, they could see something at a certain price, or maybe they had access to certain coupons or certain sales, and then they'd get in store and that would be different, and vice versa. And really, making those systems connected and having that single view of a customer is key to that journey. So a customer, can add two things into their cart online, walk into the store, and, someone behind the counter can still have that view of the customer, which is such an incredible experience. Letting someone know where something may be in a bricks and mortar location if they happen to research it online and then head into store, and vice versa. If I'm in store and I see something, using my phone with this little technological device that's sitting beside me all day long, using that to take a picture, scan a QR code, and be able to come back and have that sitting in my cart when I'm checking out on an e-commerce property is a pretty incredible experience. So I'd say, while it's not the most exciting piece of technology to offer customers, I would say that having your systems, your back-end systems, talk to each other and being connected is a tremendous value for the consumer.
And is there anything you can share around certain strategies that retailers might be able to implement to overcome some challenges like inflation, competition, especially with banks in the loyalty card space and loyalty programs, traditionally having a reputation for falling short on those customer expectations front? Anything, any strategies you're seeing that will help retailers overcome those challenges?
Yeah, pay with points has been a big piece in this world because it's really a piece of technology that's allowing a consumer to spend a little more than they could right now, and building additional trust with the consumer as well. So, you think about your basket size is increasing with inflation day after day, and now you have the ability to really take that transaction and buy it down, either with the whole transaction or a piece of that transaction. So where we see this implemented, we're seeing tremendous growth. So the average basket size is increasing 30 to 40%. They're getting anywhere from 2 to 3 additional transactions from the consumer who's got that ability to shop with an additional currency. So I would say that the ability to take that currency and really use it anywhere you're looking to use it as a consumer is an incredible strategy. And it's really going a long way to enhance consumer trust, both between the loyalty scheme that's ultimately giving them that currency, whether it's a bank, whether it's an airline, a hotel, or even a retailer, as well as the retailer having that partnership.
And I'm curious, has allowing members to pay with points, has that increased customer loyalty and sales, or has there been any measurable impact that you've seen since a retailer has implemented this?
Absolutely. So consumers are really using this in a I'll say, a mind-blowing fashion. We launched recently a very large financial institution in the US with the ability to pay with points at your local petrol or gas station. And we were expecting uptake to be in the single digits, and we're actually almost hitting 30% uptake of the offer, which allows the consumer to buy down the cost per gallon for filling their car with petrol. So that's one example we're seeing where just providing a discount, not necessarily a free transaction for the consumer, has generated huge wins for both the station. So this was in a press release, so we can talk about the fact that it's BP who offers this to their customer base, and we are expanding to other gas stations. But they're seeing huge benefits to this. And at the same time, I think it addresses one of the misnomers in the loyalty space where people think that they don't want you to use the points regardless of what the program is. And the reality is, as you consume your loyalty currency, whether it's miles or points, you actually become more engaged in the program. And we see that revolving earn and burn really show a customer that's engaged with the brand, trusting the brand, and ultimately performing very well for that brand.
And are some companies and industries better suited to implement loyalty points as an alternative payment choice than others? And in fact, people listening, that maybe we set off a few alarm bells, a few light bulb moments at the conversation today. What kind of benefits should they expect?
I don't think that there's a specific industry that would take to this better than others. I think there's value across the board. There's that halo effect when this happens. So it can be, a $300-$400 transaction that maybe you're discounting because you've got $100 worth of points. and you see significant value there, maybe that's that extra bit for you to ultimately get that TV you're looking for. It's just equally as important for that free cup of coffee on the way in. So, integrate into the POS system where a customer is walking by their coffee shop and now that coffee's free because of their interaction and loyalty to a specific brand. Both of those scenarios bring tremendous value for the consumer, and every consumer is different. Everyone will see value the way they want to be addressed from their brand. So I'd argue that there isn't a perfect place for this to be implemented. I think all places are perfect, to be honest with you.
And looking to the future, are there any other innovations in loyalty program management and indeed technology that are creating that ideal customer experience? And if we look even further into the future, how do you see AI impacting these programs too?
I think as we continue to do things like build out this network, and what we're also seeing is a significant number of partnerships. A lot of brands are becoming very comfortable with what they offer and willing to partner with other brands. Really, the future of loyalty is this cohesive journey for a customer where in their day-to-day life, they're interacting with a number of brands, and all of those brands are connected in the background and bringing value to the consumer. So it could be, hopping on the tube and tapping my card, and then right before I get on, I pick up a cup of coffee, and then ultimately on the way home, I'm using a transaction to buy some groceries to bring home, and then I pay for my subscription service, really to watch some, whether it's a sporting event, whether it's media or a movie. There can be a cohesive journey for all of that, and then all of that can be anchored in the background by a larger financial institution or a larger retailer. And I think that journey is going to be, I'll call it the nirvana for a consumer and also for the brands themselves. So obviously a lot of information being computed in the background, a lot of decision making happening for the consumer and for the brand. So I think, again, circling back to the first part of our conversation, that's where, tools like AI can really help brands, have an offering to the consumer that really is personalized, where they really feel it's a one-to-one conversation.
Well, a big thank you for shining a light on the continued technological innovation in the loyalty and retail space. And before I let you go, I'm going to ask you to leave one final gift for everybody listening. And I always ask my guests to leave a book or a song that I can either add to an Amazon wish list or a Spotify playlist. All I'm going to ask is, what would you like to leave us with and why?
I'm going to go with a book, and songs were equally intriguing for me when you asked that question. I have music in the background all the time, and I think this actually ties together. I really love creativity wherever that's coming from, and one of the brands that I think for the longest time was the epitome of creativity was Apple, and finished my second go of a book on Johnny Ive from Apple, the genius behind Apple's greatest products. And I love the story there because it really exemplifies a group of people working together to build something and not stopping till they're hitting kind of that perfect scenario. So, caring about Apple products, both inside and out, and not cutting any corners. So things like that inspire me, reading the stories of how the iterations of getting to the iPod, to the iPhone, and even just the original iMacs. Not specifically because it's Apple, it's just seeing individuals work so hard together and not cutting any corners and really not settling for anything less than perfection is inspiring for me. So that's one that really helped me day to day to bring that message back to the organization here.
What a great choice. I'll get that added straight to our Amazon wishlist. I've got to ask, though, I did notice you used almost referred to Apple in the past tense when it comes to innovation. Where do you stand on that reputation? Still innovating well as far as you can see, or room for improvement?
I think there's room for improvement there. I think the aforementioned individual is no longer with that organization, and you can definitely feel that. There's definitely room for improvement. They've got a good base and a huge bank account in order to do great things. And I always encourage any organization to never settle for anything less than greatness.
Love it. Very diplomatically answered there. And before I let you go, anyone interested in learning more about Engage People, about the technology and the loyalty programs that we've talked about today, is there any way you'd like to point everyone listening?
Absolutely. The best place to follow Engage is either through our website, but we're very active on LinkedIn. So I'd encourage you to go to LinkedIn and follow Engage People. And you can learn quite a bit about not just what we're doing as an organization, but we love to share, important news across technology in general, and definitely have comments out there and love to participate in conversation. So please feel free to follow Engage, and you can follow myself at Len Covello, and welcome any feedback or any questions.
Awesome. Well, I'll add links to both of those for people to find you nice and easily. And so much I loved about chatting with you today, from how AI is being used to enhance the customer experience by analysing these vast amounts of data from everything from purchasing behaviour, browsing history, demographic information, but ultimately allowing retailers to offer hyper-personalised product recommendations and then eventually paying with points. I'd love to hear what people think about that, and as the expectations become the norm for those kind of services, how retailers are going to reach those expectations. But more than anything, just thank you for shining a light on this today. Thanks again.
Oh, my pleasure, Neil.
So as we conclude our discussion with Len Covello from Engage People today, I think it's evident, isn't it, that the integration of AI and loyalty technologies is set to reshape the retail landscape. And I was really interested in hearing about how, by enabling consumers to pay with points and leveraging data for hyper-personalised experiences, Engage People is driving innovation and enhancing customer loyalty. And the future of retail promises more seamless and more cohesive interactions, and overcoming challenges like inflation and competition with banks in this loyalty space is also very interesting. And for the most part, whenever I see loyalty programs, it always seems to be about spending more money, and there doesn't actually seem to be any real benefit. So I'm curious, I want to hear more about your favourite customer loyalty programs. The good, the bad, the ugly, I want to hear about them all. Send me some good examples, bad examples, and what you want from a loyalty program. And does paying with points, does that interest you? As always, email me now, techblogwriter@outlook.com, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, just at Neil C. Hughes. Let me know how you see these advancements impacting your shopping habits or indeed business strategies. But that's it for today. So thank you for listening today. Hopefully you'll join me again tomorrow. But until next time, don't be a stranger.